Nazi tanks. They have a reputation for outclassing Allied tanks. But even the best machines need someone to operate it. This is the story of one of the most famous, or infamous, German tank aces of World War II, the Black Baron. War breaks out in 1939, and Michael Wittmann, the son of a farmer, is part of a reconnaissance unit where he drives an armored car. Not exactly a tank, but he has to start somewhere. He and the rest of his unit fight through Poland before being transferred west, participating in the campaigns against Belgium, the Netherlands, and France. After these engagements in early 1941, Wittmann is retrained as a commander of mechanized artillery, and he turns in his armored car, Fürsturmgeschütz 3. This vehicle is not a tank, but more accurately, an assault gun, the 75mm main gun fixed to the hull without a turret. It's in one of these assault guns that Wittmann fights in Greece, where his leadership and abilities earn him the Iron Cross Second Class. After fighting in Greece, Wittmann and the rest of his unit are sent to Czechoslovakia to rearm and refit for their next operation. June 22, 1941, 3.5 million German soldiers are kicking off Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of the Soviet Union. Wittmann and the rest of the 1st SS Panzer Division are attached to Field Marshal Gerd von Brunstedt's Army Group South. Wittmann once again proves to be a capable leader, and though he is wounded, he also displays incredible ability, destroying 6 Soviet tanks in a single engagement. In a few short months, he's credited with 66 enemy tank kills. Wittmann is then sent back to Germany, where he undergoes more intensive tank training and is promoted to lieutenant and placed in charge of a tank platoon. His vehicle also changes, first to a Panzer III, but soon this is replaced by something much more substantial. The Panzerkampfwagen 6, better known as the Tiger I, is a behemoth of a tank with a powerful 88mm main gun that can rip through virtually any enemy it faces, and has armor up to 120mm thick, making it all but impervious to whatever is thrown at it. Wittmann again joins the front lines in 1943 and first tastes combat in his new Tiger during Operation Citadel, better known as the Battle of Kursk, arguably the largest tank battle ever fought. With such a powerful tank at his disposal, Wittmann goes on a rampage, cutting a swath of destruction through the Soviets. On the first day of the battle, he destroys 13 Soviet T-34s and 2 anti-tank guns, and follows up this feat by adding 10 more tanks, 3 light tanks, 2 self-propelled guns, 3 anti-tank guns, and a field artillery piece over the course of the next few days. He also survives a collision with the burning T-34, his driver managing to speed away before the ammunition touches off and the tank explodes. In spite of Wittmann's and the rest of the German efforts, the Red Army is able to withstand the offensive, and Operation Citadel is a failure. After a brief time to refit and recuperate, Wittmann and the rest of his unit are again sent to the front. His skills are put to the test, and he racks up an impressive kill total. By January 1944, he is credited with knocking out 88 enemy tanks, artillery pieces, and other vehicles, and is awarded the Knight's Cross. By the end of the month, his total reaches 117 enemy vehicles. In May 1944, Wittmann is transferred to occupied France in preparation for the Allied invasion of France. When the Allies launched the invasion of Normandy on June 6, 1944, Wittmann and the 6 Tiger tanks in his unit redeployed to the area, arriving on June 12. It's here that Wittmann achieves the most famous exploit of his career. June 13, 1944, Wittmann and the rest of his men are stationed near the town of Villers-Bocage, defending a piece of ground called Hill 213. It's early in the morning, and the 4th County of London Yeomanry are advancing toward the hill where the Tiger tanks are waiting. They, along with a supporting infantry company, are trying to secure the roadway for a push to the city of Caen, though the thick vegetation of the Normandy countryside lowers their visibility. In total, Wittmann has his own Tiger, 3 other Tigers, and a Panzer IV. Against them are about 60 British tanks, half-tracks, gun carriers, and anti-tank guns. While others may have been uneasy being outnumbered more than 10 to 1, Wittmann finds himself in a target-rich environment. Leaving the rest of his men to face the front of the British column, he swings around to the rear of the British undetected. At about 9 a.m., the British hear a panicked call over the radio.
Good God, we have to get out of here. There's a Tiger tank that's progressing about 50 meters from us.
Bursting from the undergrowth like its namesake, Wittmann's Tiger falls on the rear of the British column, immediately blasting a Cromwell tank to scrap, followed shortly by a Firefly and then 3 tanks. Wittmann moves parallel to the roadway, using the Tiger's powerful 88mm gun to blast tanks, half-tracks, gun carriers, and whatever else gets into his sights. The British return fire, but their shells are more of an annoyance than a threat. He then advances on Villers-Bocage, racking up more kills. The entire engagement lasts for about 15 minutes, and when the dust settles, the Germans have knocked out 13 to 14 tanks, 13 to 15 transport vehicles, and 2 anti-tank guns. Other German units continue the fight for Villers-Bocage, which is a debacle for the British advance. But Wittmann plays no further part in the battle after being disabled by an anti-tank gun that hits the Tiger's drive wheel. For his actions that day, he's awarded the Sword Edition to his Knight's Cross and is promoted to SS Hauptsturmführer, or Captain. He spends the next 2 months fighting the Allied advance across France. On August 8th, he participates in a counterattack near the town of Saint-Aignan-du-Crémenil, where his unit is ambushed by a British and Canadian tank force. A fateful blow ignites the ammunition in Wittmann's Tiger, killing the crew and blowing the turret completely off. Wittmann is buried in a communal grave before being positively identified in 1983. His remains are reburied at the German military cemetery at Le Combe in Normandy. Michael Wittmann's legacy is complicated to say the least. In total, he is one of, if not the most successful tank aces of all time, with around 138 enemy tanks and 132 artillery pieces to his credit. His exploits are still studied and discussed today. It is important to remember that a tank is not operated by a single man, but rather a crew, and Wittmann's crew was among the best in the German armed forces. Specifically, Wittmann relied heavily on his gunner Balthasar Voll, who wielded the main gun like a sniper rifle, able to hit targets while on the move, an exceedingly difficult feat in an era before gyro stabilizers. At the same time, there are many who are skeptical about his record. Many believe that his totals were exaggerated, and there's no doubt that his actions were used as German propaganda, which makes the truth difficult to determine. There have also been some to suggest that he was reckless and foolhardy, advancing alone against the enemy without support from other members of his unit, like he did at Villers-Bocage. It's also believed that his reputation owes more to the durability of the Tiger I than any skill on his part. The thick armor was impervious to all but the most powerful anti-tank weapons, so enemy tanks weren't that much of a threat to him. After transferring to the Western Front, Wittmann was killed in action after 2 months, where he faced tanks with more powerful guns that could tear through the Tiger's armor. Regardless of the truth, Michael Wittmann is still remembered as arguably the greatest tank ace in history, his story sparking countless debates and discussions decades after his death.